is nothing that annoys me more than being single-handedly taken down by a bleeding organ every month. Welcome back to the channel. We're gonna do our makeup. We're gonna get ready. I don't know what we're gonna do. It's 4th of July. So if you're watching this on 4th of July, happy 4th of July. If you're coming from the future, I hope you're having a blessed day. I feel like crap, but it is what it is. This is just gonna be a little catch up, a little update, a little chat with Nat. I'm freaking breaking out all over the place with my period. That's great. We love it so much. And I had like a really big realization this past week while I was doing shadow work with the girls inside of Sovereign Body. And we're doing a lot of work around money right now and healing money wounds and subconscious beliefs about money. And a lot of times we think that we have to be a different person in order to be able to receive. Like, you have to show up as the highest version of you. And maybe that version of you that you're thinking makes all this money. She dresses differently, she acts differently, she has a different body, she has a different, I don't know, a whole different life. I'm here to tell you that she doesn't. She's literally you right now. Okay, I started this YouTube channel when I was making, I don't know, $4,000 a month. Literally nothing has changed. My bed is still unmade. And I'm the same girl now making between $15,000 and $20,000 a month. And literally nothing has changed. Nothing about me has changed in any way, shape, or form. And I always imagined that I would get to this point when I was different. I thought that, like, in order for me to make that type of money, that I needed to be the girl that walked around in like business attire. That was the kind of one thing that always popped into my mind, that I needed to like constantly like always have my shit together, that my bed needed to be always made. Like, I thought that I needed to be someone else in order to be able to receive. That was not the case. I'm the same girl. Nothing changed. My dreams didn't change. My goals didn't change. I still bought the car that I wanted, that has been up on my freaking vision board. I mean, I got a Volkswagen. I wanted to get a white Atlas, and that is what I have on my vision board. But one, they didn't have any Atlases in white. And when I got into the black Atlas that they had, I realized that it felt a little too big for me. And then I got a T1 and I fucking love it. And as soon as I opened it up and I saw the interior, I was like, this is for me. And I drove it and it fits me perfectly. I don't feel like I'm in a massive truck that I'm going to run somebody over. So nothing's changed. No, I'm still living in the same apartment for now, like probably for the next year or so. My credit's still shot from me building my business. I'm going through hell like 2 years ago to get to this point. No regrets. My makeup station is still a mess. My bed still isn't made. I'm wearing the same clothes. Nothing's changed. And I thought that I needed to be someone else entirely in order to get here. So we need to start to think about, what if I were to have this money right now? Would I show up any differently? Do you think? Because from the girl who just did it and like collapsed I don't know how many timelines, nothing's changed. I use the same makeup. I still use drugstore makeup for like 99% because I used to work in the makeup industry and I realized that it was, for the most part, a bunch of bullshit. And there's plenty of things in the like drugstore or in kind of like the more affordable areas in Ulta that work just as great. I use Milani, I use e.l.f., I use Morphe. I love Morphe, okay? Fucking love Morphe. So I just have more money now. I have peace of mind. I have stability. I have a car that I'm not concerned that I'm going to like myself or anybody else out on the road, like with the last one, because I drove that bitch into the ground, okay? Into the ground. Where is my concealer brush? Look. I really do need to clean this. No, but nothing else has changed. I just have, I have a lot more work, and I'm responsible for a lot more women than I was 6 months ago. But nothing about me personally has changed. My mentality hasn't changed. Like, the way I see myself hasn't changed. And I think a part of that is also due to the fact that I always knew I would end up here. And I've been showing up as the girl that made it already for quite some time. So let's talk about the Hannah Montana effect. All right, this is a new coin that I termed, and something that I'm working on right now inside of Sovereign Body, of showing up as the girl who she's already that bitch and nobody else knows it, okay? This is the Hannah Montana effect. You are incognito. Nobody else knows that you are already successful, you're already fit as fuck, you're already whatever it is that you want. You're already successful in your career, you're already an influencer, whatever it is that you want. I want you to start pretending on a day-to-day basis that you're already her and literally nobody else knows yet. Not your friends, not your family, no one. No one knows who you are. I also want you to protect your peace, your energy, your ideas, your thoughts about how big you're dreaming. Because other people are always going to use you as a mirror and they're only going to tell you what they believe is capable or possible for themselves. So if I were to have told people, I don't know, people that I worked with or friends 6 months ago that I would be making, as of right now, like between 15 and 20K a month, they would have laughed in my face because there was nothing to prove in my current reality that I would be here now. I even blew my own business coach out of the water because I told him in January that by the end of the year, I wanted to be at 30K. And he was like, that's a little bit of a stretch, Nat. And he didn't tell me it was impossible, but he was kind of like, let's maybe like 20K. And we're in June and we're already there. So, love you, Brian. I'll be at 30K before the end of the year. I'll probably be higher than that because I'm not going to let anybody tell me what's possible. It's like that Queen Herbie song that is like trending right now. I don't remember what the full quote is, but she's like, maybe not for you, you whimsical bitch. Yeah, exactly. Don't fucking put me in your box. I'm not gonna stay there. But when other people start to tell you about what they think is possible, your brain is gonna like start to try to shrink itself to fit into other people's boxes. So you have to have a very firm faith and belief within yourself to know that their beliefs has literally nothing to do with what you're capable of and your reality, which is why it's best to just not talk about it at all. And then there's no subject for discussion or debate. I'm not fucking debating my life with anybody, all right? Fuck that shit. So then there's a part of me that's like, it's almost kind of like my body is trying to catch up to the reality now. Like my brain is kind of like trying to process everything that's happened in the last 6 months. And I'm kind of almost waiting for me to change in some way, and I'm not. I haven't. All I'm doing is getting more help at this point, so that way Sovereign Body can continue to grow and I can keep helping as many women as possible. Like, I reached a point this week that my calendar is completely filled with calls. I have like really, really small amounts of spaces, and I was like, that's a problem because I need to have calls with my clients. So I need some extra help. I can't expand the amount of hours there are in the day, and that's only got so much energy. So how can I start to get help in order to free up some time? That's really the only thing that's changed. I really just need to pause and do my eye makeup, and then I'll come back and continue because I can't do this and talk. I lied. So as women, I had a thought. I was like, you know what? Let's go back to the fact of women were only allowed to have their own checking accounts since like, I don't know the exact year, so don't quote me on this, but like what, the 1940s, 50s, 60s, around there. So of course, women have a fuck ton of money blocks, okay? Because they were always reliant on a man in order to pay for things or in order to be successful. It hasn't even been 100 years yet that women have been able to take control of their own finances. And there's still such a massive societal expectation that the man provides, and that women are like, not so much in this day and age, but they're expected to just be more submissive, that they're supposed to just let a man take care of them, and like that's fine and dandy. I'd love to find a man to like take care of me, but just know that I'm still gonna hustle and grind, and I'm going to have all of my own shit. If you want to pay for me, go ahead, be my guest. But it doesn't mean that I'm just gonna sit back and relax and just like take my hands off the wheel. No, I'm in charge here, okay? And I gotta make sure I'm okay no matter what. But imagine that it's been less than 100 years that women have been able to even do that, at least here in the United States. So of course women have money wounds. Of course we have subconscious feedback loops in scarcity and fear. Like, of course we do. There's no way around that. Unless you're coming from another country or another world at this point. Let's be fucking for real. Not another country. You'd have to be coming from another world where women have ruled for hundreds and hundreds of years in order to not have some type of wounds with money at this point. So we all have them. We all got to work through them. And how do you work through them when we've only been capable of doing things on our own for the last 60, 70, 80 something years? So if you think back to your parents, your grandparents, like, what did the maternal side look like? Was she reliant on somebody else? Was she even happy with that person? It goes in so much deeper, because then the subconscious feedback loops and the anxiety and fear that we have around money can also be, oh, that means in order for me to have money, I need to be unhappy in a relationship and I have to make a sacrifice. So it can go into so many different avenues, and that's not necessarily the case for everybody. But I know for me growing up, I was taught like it goes either one of two ways. Either you marry for love and you're probably going to be broke, or you don't marry for love and you're well off but you're miserable. And that kind of was like the two things that I was taught. And there wasn't really a in between of just go and fuck it, do it yourself. Like, I steered very far off of the path. And that's on my mom's side. On my dad's side, mind you, I'm the only girl in my immediate family. So I am the oldest of how many boys? Jesus Christ. A lot of boys. So I have a brother, and then I have six cousins. They're all boys, and they're all younger than me. So there was a lot of, I guess, like princess treatment, but also a lot of expectation. And we can even go so far as cultural expectations when it comes to women and how that affects us financially too. Because I was kind of, my dad's from Venezuela, so it was very much this like Venezuelan princess treatment, in the sense that They wanted me to be very girly, and I just wasn't. And they wanted me to be like this little princess and very feminine, and I was into like Pokemon cards and shit. Like, and then I got very alternative and gothic, and then I was emo as fuck. Like, I was never this little Venezuelan princess. And then the expectation was do really well in school, go to college, get scholarships, get a degree, and get a stable job, so that way you would be financially comfortable. And, you know, the usual Hispanic questions of like, oh, do you have a boyfriend? When are you getting married? When are you having kids? All of that. And then there was always, as soon as I dropped out of college, or I flunked out of college, always a question of, oh, are you gonna go back? And I was like, no, I'm not going back. Are you joking? The only thing that I'm paying in student loans was for the housing, and I only got the housing because I literally had nowhere else to live. Like, I was in college for survival. And the thing is that most people don't know the life that I lived, including my family. My family is very unaware of the life that I have lived, what my childhood was like. And I'm really working hard on opening up more and more about that. But there was a lot of trauma, okay? And that did a lot of things for survival. And when you are in survival at such a young age, that also affects your beliefs and about yourself, the beliefs about the world around you, and about money too. So it all goes hand in hand, all of it. Okay, we're back. Eyes are on. But the way that I was able to heal my money blocks, this was a very long process, okay? I'm talking like the last, oh shit, I'm 29. Okay, so over the course of the last 10 years, I had to pull myself out of survival mode. I was working as a barista. That was obviously not paying the bills. I went from being a barista to working as a makeup artist for Clinique and Estee Lauder. That did better. I was able to get my first apartment with the guy that I was dating at the time. Wanted more for myself and needed more stability. Went into banking. You want to talk about a soul-sucking job? Go work in a fucking retail bank. Oh my God. We do not recommend. Did that for, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years. Saved up so I could move down to Florida. Thought I was moving down here with my ex. Broke up with him when I found out he was talking to somebody else. Threw myself into the gym. I had already started my weight loss journey at that point. And the weight loss journey was also a big part of it because my body was in survival mode in every aspect. And my body was suffering. I had no energy. I was in constant pain. I had migraines. I had extreme hypertension. I was put on blood pressure medication by the time I was 22. And my body was in survival mode all the time. I had a lot of PTSD from my upbringing. And so I would hear like a footstep or something like that, and my heart would just start pounding. That did not help with the hypertension. So I had to clean up my nutrition because that was playing a role, had to decrease my salt intake. And I had to really start focusing on my body in order to pull myself out of survival mode. So it was a combination of both the physical body and also things in my exterior reality, like finances and things like that, to kind of be able to stabilize myself and let my nervous system feel neutral. That took years, okay? Broke up with this guy, moved down to Florida, went and moved in with my family while I restarted my life again. And I was working as a barista again because my family owns a cafe here in Orlando. And from there I threw myself into the gym. I was going through that heartbreak, and that's a great catalyst for a fitness journey, let me tell you. I had already lost 30 pounds, lost another 30 pounds after I moved down here. And I was in the gym so much that somebody looked at me that worked at the LA Fitness that I was going to, and they're like, you are here so often, why don't you just work here? And it like planted a seed inside of my brain. And I was like, you know what? Why not? But I wouldn't want to do like front desk sales. I would coach. And that was how that seed planted into me. I figured out what was the best certification to get, got certified. And right when I got, I can't talk, I swear to God. right before I took the exam, I found the gym that I wanted to train at and applied, got the certification, and then immediately got the job afterwards. And I worked for Crunch for quite some time. And that changed my life. That was the catalyst of my life changing. I walked into this one gym. It was the Crunch on Osceola in Kissimmee, Florida. That's down the street from me. And I knew from the moment that I walked through those doors that I was home, that I needed to be there, that something there was meant for me. And I had absolutely no idea how my life would be impacted and changed after that. And that will be a story for another day. But from there, I almost had to kind of like restart because their systems were very different and from any other job that I'd ever worked. And you're only getting paid for the time that you're training clients, and you have to get the clients yourself. So it was a lot to learn. There is a massive learning curve, and I had to learn how to sell myself for once instead of selling a product or selling coffee or whatever. How do I sell myself as a coach? And starting to build up that confidence and belief in myself. That's a whole other part of healing your wounds with money, is like, do you even feel confident enough in yourself to be able to receive? Do you feel like you're worth it? Do you know your value? Do you believe in your value? Like, it all plays a role. So that was the next piece of the puzzle for me. And then I ended up leaving Crunch as a personal trainer. I stayed as a group fitness instructor. I still teach one class a week just to get myself out of my apartment. Otherwise, I will lock myself in here. And then I started my online coaching business. And it was after my first competition prep. There's so many, like, I can keep going and going and going with this story. But healing your wounds, healing your money wounds, your money blocks, it requires a fuck ton of introspection. It requires you to sit there and look in the mirror and be like, do I even believe in myself? Do I believe in my value? Do I believe in my worth? And then once you have a business, that's a whole other vaina. Like, that's something else, because then the entire business is an extension of you. Nobody tells you this shit, okay? When you're running any business, but especially a soul-led business, it's an extension of you. When you feel like shit, the business does shit. When you don't show up for yourself, the business does shit. If you start doubting yourself and questioning yourself, the business does shit. So it's a fuck ton of work. Being an entrepreneur is like the best way to start breaking through what subconscious feedback loops you have. And that's why it's so hard, and why so many people don't follow through, is because it requires so much internal work. Not everybody is prepared in the very moment in time that they think they are to be able to work through that, or they choose not to. But I wasn't gonna let that shit stop me, because I knew that my purpose was in coaching. And I knew that I was going to be successful through online coaching. That was the way, and I knew it in my heart and soul. So I needed to work through my money blocks, and I needed to know my worth, and I needed to be able to show up authentically. And showing up authentically and healing the witch wound was literally my biggest money block. I was afraid of being seen. I was afraid of being seen in my power, about the shit that I know, about showing up authentically online as a witch, as a woman in power, a woman who knows who the fuck she is and isn't afraid to talk her shit. I was afraid of that. I was very afraid of judgment. Who does this chick think she is? Hell with it. Hell with it. And as soon as I got over myself and I said, fuck it, I'm gonna show up anyway. Natalie, just got foundation on my pants. Was when everything changed. I've had my online coaching business for over 2 years. The biggest catalyst in my business has happened in the last 4 or 5 months. And it truly, the biggest catalyst was me finally just opening up. That was it. When I started making witch content and I started talking about energy and talking about tarot and quantum physics, that was what shifted my entire business, because I was finally showing up authentically. So your money wounds it's not just one thing. And it's like the witch wound. The witch wound is not just one thing. It's a lot of other wounds all piled up together, every one of them affecting the other. So if you want to work on your money wounds, the first thing that we need to do is a full analysis, a full audit of your life, the beliefs that you have about yourself currently. Do you even believe that you're worth receiving? That sounds shitty, because we all want money, but sometimes what we want and what we believe is possible don't line up. So we have to shift the belief. And if you think that you receiving more money is going to equate to a tremendous amount of work and that stresses you out, then we need to build a different container. Because whatever it is that you're working on is not going to be sustainable as a container with high capacity, with no ceiling, if you follow what I mean. Like working as an in-person coach, right? I had a ceiling. I could only make so much income, because if I wanted to make more, I needed to literally spend 24/7 inside of the gym, and that was just not feasible. There's not enough energy, not enough hours in the world. I was trading my time for money. But with online coaching, I have an infinite container. I have infinite capacity. I have an infinite ceiling. Why? Because I'm not trading my time for money. I'm trading my knowledge. I'm trading everything that I've learned and streamlining processes without me having to spend 12, 14, 16 hours on the gym floor. Do I still do a lot of work? Yes. I'm constantly answering messages. I'm checking form. My girls send me videos all the freaking time. Like, I'm making adjustments to programs. We're working on meal plans. I'm filming videos in the gym. All of the stuff that looks kind of like influencer-y. I'm not an influencer. I'm a coach that has to post online in order to be a successful online coach. I'm not posting workout videos for shits and giggles. Like, I'm posting workout videos because then I can not only just show what I'm capable of doing and attract new clients, but I can also take those same videos and break down exactly how they're done with form for my current clients. So it's all part of the job. I'm like, oh, that's so fun. Yeah, it's fun, but it's still time consuming. I love it. But if where you're at has a ceiling that you don't like, it's time to start doing some soul searching and figuring out what it is that you really want to do. I'm doing this right now with one of my clients, Madison, and we're talking about what she actually loves about her job, because she wants to expand and she wants to grow her ceiling. She feels like she's tapped out at her current job and she can't make more money. So we're talking about, what do you really love about this job? Because she really enjoys her job. And how can we start to apply that into something that has a higher ceiling or no ceiling? This is when AI becomes very handy, okay? Regardless of how you feel about it, it's here to stay, and we might as well use it to shift into our highest timelines and do good in this world. I'm not here to argue and debate about it. If you don't like it, don't use it. But it is very handy. Nobody can deny that. So that we can take those, all those thoughts about, like, okay, what is it that I really love? And how can I apply this into my life with something that has no ceiling? So that's a prompt. If you want to use it, throw it into Claude or ChatGPT or whatever the case may be. Do a audit breakdown of your life and see what it comes up with. See if anything resonates. And if it doesn't, Try again. Break it down again. This is very pink, but okay. We're gonna make it work. So, you've got homework. If you're suffering with money blocks, you've got homework. And if you're not, and you've worked through your money blocks and you're now making, let's say, over 10K a month as an example, then write in the comments what the biggest catalyst for you healing your money blocks was, so that everybody can learn, because everybody's gonna have different experiences. So, yep, that's it. That's the end of the video. I'm gonna finish up my makeup. This is where I'm ending it for you guys. So, peace.